Hey guys, Manny CA here. If you caught in the last video, this is the 4440, the Chiappa 4440 that we were having problems with. I don't know if you remember, with the hammer not being heavy enough and the loading gate giving us some problems popping out. Well, as you can see, loading gate's fixed. See? Nothing's popping out. So what I thought I'd do is go through the video and kind of show you guys what we did to fix it. Might be a little bit long, but we'll also get into doing an action job and making it smoother. So first thing you want to do, of course, is make sure the gun is empty. Always, 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 before you work on a firearm, make sure it is empty. Clear, check your chamber, no rounds in the gun, and we're good. So second thing we're going to do with these, close her down. And it's one problem I've noticed on this gun is where the bolt travels over the hammer right here. It's just rough. So I'll even show you a couple tricks to smooth this out. First thing you want to do after you check it and make sure it's empty is we're going to remove the screw that's right there, and we're going to pop off our mag cartridge. Here we go. And then I've already done it. This is the spring that they give you. So springs out. I like to get a little container to keep all my screws and odds and ends in. This is the follower it comes with. It's a metal follower, very nice. I know some of the Pumas are plastic. Here's a metal cap, metal end piece. So that's off. Once that's off, you want to remove this screw right here in the back of the tang. And what that'll do is allow the stock to slide off. I mean, beautiful. This is a beautiful specimen. And you know what, if we got to do a little bit of work to it, so be it, right? It's all the more fun of owning a gun. All the work you guys get to do to it. Second thing we're going to do, and don't mind me if I enjoy a nice cigar here. Nice Monte Cristo. You guys know anything about cigars? Very smooth, very fine. Now on these guns, I know a lot of the Winchesters have, they've upgraded to a coil spring. As you can see here, we've got a flat leaf spring that provides the tension. See? Very nice. So if you look in there, you can kind of see how it works. What I like to do is to remove, first thing we do is we've got to remove the tension off of this spring. So what I like to do is I'll take a pair of vice grips and I use a piece of folded leather right over there. Just like so. Try to get close to it, clamp it in. There we go. And then I'll take adjustable pliers or adjustable wrench, and we'll just work the bolt off. So I tell you, these Chiappas, they're really true to the original guns. Like the older ones have these leaf springs. Another thing about these guns is I was surprised because I've never worked on a Chiappa before. I've always worked on either the Winchester or the Pumas. So we removed that. Your spring, which is hooked to the back here of the hammer, comes right out. Very nice. Next thing, we did have a problem with this screw. One thing about these Chiappas, the metal is very, very soft. These Italian-made guns are not like our guns with the nice hardened screws. So I would recommend ordering a set of screws for the gun. Especially, it just depends on how far you want to break it down. The way we're going to be breaking it down today, I would get one of these tang screws. That way, because this will the action screw where all the tang and everything comes off. Second thing you want to do is pick up your screwdriver, and we'll remove this one right here. And what I do on my screwdrivers, I wrap them in tape, clear tape, just so further protection against buggering up any of the screws, which this one was really buggered up, but that's okay. Screws are cheap, part of the gun, shows you're working on it. That'll pop right out, and what that'll do then is your hammer comes out. See? And then your tang will pull right out. See? It's really rough too. It's finished here, but then I mean just really rough. We'll talk about that when we do the reassembly and what you can do to fix some of that. Next thing, what you want to do is we're going to work on removing the lever here. And let's see here. First thing when you remove the lever is there's this guy. See that hole right there? Well, that hole is where there's two screws on the opposite side, right over here, that we got to remove first. So, let's see what we got here. Let's grab one. And always use flat ground screwdrivers. See these bits? They're flat ground. I don't know if you could see them right there. See that? The tips on regular screwdrivers come together like this. These guys are ground like this, so you have full contact with the screw. That way you don't strip your screws. One more time. Let's get some tape on our bits. Now you don't have to put the tape on your bits. That's just me being neurotic. So we're going to remove this. See that? And then inside these guns, usually there's a punch that you would punch this out. You would put your punch in through here and you would knock it out. But on these guns, on the Pumas, Chiappa Pumas, they don't have that. So you've got to have a really slender bit to get in there. So, I'll show you what that looks like. And always use sufficient force. You know, nice contact. You don't want to strip your screws. And you'll hear it when it comes out. Perfect. And then what you want to do is take your punch and you're going to punch from the other side. There you go. All the screws. I've got a little container here where we put all our screws in. Just because I'm neurotic. I don't want a screw falling on the ground. Can't find it. Gets me angry. Now, this will allow your locking lugs and your lever to come out. Set those aside, and now the bolt will slide out also. There you go. So, this is about as far as I would go on this gun. You can remove the risers and everything in here, and what those will do is you'll take these guys out. The risers will come out. That's only in extreme cases. Here we're just going to work on the loading gate here, which we already fixed, and I'll show you how to do that. This screw right here is what does the loading gate. So, take our screwdriver again. We're hitting the screw here in this guy. Another thing you want to make sure of, make sure your screws are tight. They got to be tight. There. Your loading gate and the pieces to the loading gate, you've got a back screw right here that's on the inside, a small screw right there. Those will come out also. So, I'll show you what we did with the loading gate here. These guys will get, I usually like to screw these together. That way we don't lose anything. Now, here's the loading gate. Now, what had happened with the loading gate was the screw that they're using, the spring, this leaf spring, is really just pretty cheap. So, in the future, I told my buddy he needed to get one of these. I know there's reproductions that they make, so we can get it fitted to this gun. But for now, we took an anvil, and we took our hammer, and all we did was we just kind of gave it a few wraps on here. We straightened it out just a little bit. We didn't straighten it out too much because you want to make sure that you don't change the angle of it too badly. But you can see it still has a little bit of a little arch to it. Well, that's all we did. And then when, of course, we put it in, we tested it, we did fitting, we back and forth, a little time consuming. I didn't want to put it on a video, I don't want you guys getting bored. Now, assembling this guy is a little bit tricky. You have to put that in. Let me turn this around, otherwise I'll never get this done tonight. So that was the disassembly. And then reassembly, same way. You stick it in there. grab, I like to put the little nut in first, slide it from the back, use my left hand to hold the works together, kind of come through, take a look. It'll have a tendency to want to run out on you, just like it did to me right here, but there we go. Might use 2 fingers, look over here, use a punch to center your holes up, grab your screw, reinstall. Now, make sure you don't get your screws in here backwards. There we go, or cross-threaded. So, yeah, man. This is a little bit tricky. You wish you had 3 hands on this portion. But then again, working on guns, you gotta have some patience, right? Sometimes you gotta have the patience of Job, just to get these things going. There we go. And of course, you want to make sure your screwdriver doesn't skirt off and scratch up your beautiful receiver. Now, since we're going to tighten it, I'll put a little bit more tape on this guy. And you can see it's already sitting flush. Now again, the tighter you make this, the better this will function. But you don't want to overdo it. So, just get it nice and snug. There we go. And you see? No more popping out. Use your little finger back here. It's kind of tight squeeze in there. See? It's not going nowhere. So we finish that up. Now, to reassemble it, it's the same way. Reassembly, not a big deal. A lot of guys like to think that it's a hassle. I don't think it's a hassle. You just got to take your time when you reassemble. Biggest thing is your plunger here. You see the plunger will slide right out of your bolt. Now, this is the thing you got to worry about when you reassemble, because that'll just get kind of gunked up. Now's the time when you want to kind of oil it up, clean it up, and that's what we did already. You take your bolt and you slide the bolt back in. And again, clean the rails. You know, there's gunk, there's powder residue, all kinds of nasty stuff you want to clean up, especially when you got the gun disassembled this far. So, now what we're going to do is slide the whole works here, so either make sure that your lugs are going in the same direction. Now, at this point, you want to take your thumb, I use my thumb, push this back, push the bolt open a little bit. See, we're coming open. I put my pinky finger here to make sure that the plunger doesn't come out. And you kind of finagle a little bit and you'll feel, there we go, you'll feel it kind of sit in. And then, there we go. Beautiful, see? We're going to reinstall our, this is our set screw that goes all the way in the bottom. And you want to make sure that, you got to make sure that they're inside are all lined up. Otherwise, nothing will go in easy. There we go. And this should just drop right in. Again, there we go. Just finagle the bolt, the lever a little bit, and that should get that guy in there. He'll go all the way into the bottom, and what you're doing is this screw goes right into the bolt. There we go. We'll replace our screw cover here. This is the little screw cover right there. Oop, my mistake, wrong screw. There we go. No, that's the wrong screw. This was with the correct screw. Like I said, after a while, the screws all look the same. Alright. And all the screws, remember, you want them snug. Nice and snug. There we go. So, reassembling your hammer. Hammer will go right in through the bottom here. you want to make sure that this little, see that right there? That's where the spring holds onto, sticks out. And now, this is where I was talking about. You can hit this with some 600 grit sandpaper, smooth it out a little bit. This is the trigger assembly. So you got your spring right here. That's what makes the trigger return. So, one more thing while we're doing this, and I'll go over that. Go over something else with you guys. Fitting here's just a little tricky. There we go. So, we got everything lined up. Hammer. Alright. Everything's lined up. Now we're going to take our screw, and again, you want to finagle everything. Make sure that it goes through. There we go. And the tang is just a little bit out of alignment. This will go back in here. Hold on here. There we go. The spring has got to go, the trigger's got to go behind or in front, depending on your view of hold on. There we go. Well, we'll get done with this and we'll continue in part 2. Alright guys, part 2. We went a little long on the other one, but hey, when you're working on guns, that's how it goes. What we're doing here now is we assembled the gun. We've got the hammer in, triggers in, everything in. And we also reinstalled our screw here and our spring, our leaf spring. Remember we were having light primer strikes on our last one. So what we did is we increased the tension of our spring with an old trick where we made a couple of shims and we put them underneath here. Now we cut them out of just pop cans, soda cans. And what we did was we punctured a hole through them with our handy little punch here. And we put them between the tang itself, the lower tang, and the spring right there. That's an old Mosin Nagant trick. You could do this with the Mosin too. It increases the, it lightens up the trigger a little bit and it increases the power of the spring. On this case though, see, it increased the power of the spring and you could feel it. So that's good. And then when we took this out, test fired it, awesome. Our failure to fires disappeared. So, little trick right here, awesome little old time trick. Get you guys some extra information there, free of charge. So, next thing I want to do is go over with you guys. After you assemble the gun, you want to do a couple of safety checks, and you should get used to doing these safety checks if you start working on firearms. You pop this open, and you'll see right here the firing pin. Now, with this is the tang is open a little bit like this, just like that. Your firing pin should not go nowhere, and as you can see, it's not going nowhere. It's stuck pretty good. That's what you want to see. If not, if it moves, that's a bad safety concern, and something was not put together right. Take it apart and do it again. And when it's locked in, same thing. See? So, just something for you guys to keep in mind. Another thing we're going to do, since we've got the gun all assembled, we even put the tube back here, tube spring back in, and we were testing it out. Our failure, let's go this way so you guys can see what we're doing here. The failure with the loading gate is gone. And we do a test, blanks. Always use blanks. Never have any ammo when you're doing this, especially in the loading room here. And what we're going to do here is we're going to ratchet. See? There we go. No popping of the gate. Last time when we were loading it, the gate popped out. Make sure that they eject. Yes. We got our second round in there. And again, perfect. Ejection is great. The gun is ready to go. Couple things now. After you assemble your gun, what you want to do is, one of the big things after, let's put this on first. That way she looks done. There we go. And again, tape over the screws, tape over the screwdriver, just because you don't want to slip and make a big nasty scratch on your beautiful gun or metal or anything. So again, if you guys have any questions, send me an email. Take your time disassembling, reassembling it, because it is worth doing it. You could pay someone, you know, I think it's 150 bucks they charge to do something like that. But on this video, you can see trigger feels a little more crisp. I think we got a little bit more power in the hammer. Now, action jobs. What you want to do is, I don't use anything but toothpaste, white toothpaste, or Flitz. This Flitz metal polish is awesome. Because remember, you're not trying to remove metal, you're trying to smooth it out. What I would do is come through here and put some Flitz on the action right here on the rails on both sides, right in here. You could also put some on the inside of the locking lugs on top here, if your gun's so inclined to hang up. This gun is smooth as silk out of the box. It was awesome. The only thing is you can see right here, see how it rides that hammer, and you can see the hammer right there, kind of gets bound up right there. So what we have is just, you know, it's a little stiff, and you can see where it's riding right there where the metal is. So what we do is take a little Flitz, same thing. Take your Flitz polish, put some on there, and then just sit there and, you know, go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with it. You know, 50, 100 times, whatever. Make sure it's unloaded, of course. Get your gun going, and then disassemble the gun. And you want to remove all the polish from everything. Remove it all, make sure you get it really well. Remove it, everything. And then you put some moly in it. And then you do the same thing another 50, 100 times. And it'll be smooth as glass. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions, send us an email, send us a text, send us a message, let us know what you want us to do. This thing is ready to go, ready to fire. Like I said, we're going to order a couple screws. This screw are kind of buggered up. The steel on these are really soft. But there it is, action job for your Chiappa 4440 or any action, you know, model 92 clone. And this gun is true to clone with the leaf spring in it, which was really a nice surprise. Again, join the NRA, do some shooting, go out and shoot. It's fun to do stuff like this, but if you're not out shooting, what's the use?